All right. Well, welcome everybody. Again, my name is Ellie Burns. I am the Senior Director of Nonprofit Relations here at the Community Foundation and really excited today to share a little bit of information with you about our 4 Impact Leaders cohort. If you know any friends who would be interested as well, we are recording this, so we'll send this out in an email afterwards, and we'll have this recording up on our website. So if you have any questions or want to go back afterwards, you can always review it as well. So really excited to dive in. I'm just going to share some high-level information about the program, talk a little bit about the application process, hopefully just answer any questions that you have along the way. Definitely happy to have this be informal, so don't hesitate to pop in and ask questions if you've got them as we go, or throw them in the chat, and I'll do my best to kind of monitor that as well. So yeah, here we go. Let's see, I gotta figure out how to advance screens. There we go. So the Community Foundation decided in 2023 to launch the 4 Impact Leaders cohort. So we're in our second cohort right now. This sort of came from the realization that while there are some really great leadership programs in our community, none of them focus specifically on nonprofit leadership. And as many of you probably know, it's very common in the nonprofit sector to have staff who start as direct service providers and they sort of move up in those leadership responsibilities. And a lot of organizations just don't have the capacity to offer training about what does it really look like to run a nonprofit organization. So we've developed this organization with sort of 3 overarching goals that you'll probably be tired of hearing me say over and over again throughout this presentation. But those are really professional learning, professional leadership skill development, personal leadership skill development, and then equally important is the opportunity to really build and advance your networks. We understand and know that no work is done in a silo. And so having people that you can turn to that are in this sector with you and experiencing the challenges and the excitements is really important to just ensuring that we have a strong and healthy sector of leaders. So when we decided that it was a good idea to put this program together, we knew that we don't have all the answers. And so we thought it'd be great to put together a panel. So we've got an advisory committee that meets and really gives thought to the curriculum and everything from the curriculum to who participates to the applications and et cetera. And so this is the 2024 advisory committee. We've got some nonprofit professionals that probably look familiar. We've got some consultants in the group, and a few people on the committee were graduates from the 2023 cohort. So really investing the voice of those who have participated in the program and have sat in the seats of the cohort. This is our 2024 class. We have 15 nonprofit professionals, and they are from a variety of organizations. We've got really large nonprofits like the United Way of Central Iowa and the YMCA represented in this group, down to some very small nonprofits like Genesis Youth Foundation and the Des Moines Children's Museum. So kind of all over the board in terms of size of nonprofits, length of time within the nonprofit sector, experience with nonprofits. We really want to be very broad in the group that we recruit. So today we're just going to break this information down into sort of the who, what, why, when, how, and then we'll have time for questions at the end. So first of all, who? Who should consider applying? Who is this program for? The cohort size is generally 12 to 16. So we will choose 12 to 16 participants for the 2025 cohort with 2 alternates, because we know that sometimes things change in the time that you apply in June or July and January when we kick off. So there will be 2 alternate candidates. We are looking for current nonprofit employees who are dedicated to the nonprofit sector. So hopefully people who've got a long-term goal to stay in the nonprofit sector for their professional career. We would love it if you have 3 or more years of experience in the nonprofit sector, just so that you're not completely new and you know a little bit about sort of the sector itself and the role that you're in and the work that you'll be doing. So minimum of 3 years. you have a current or will have a future area of influence within your organization. Committed to your own leadership journey, right? This is a full day out of the office once a month for 9 months. And so that means that you'll probably have catch up work to do when you get back. And it is a commitment. So we definitely want people who are passionate about not only their professional leadership skills, but their personal leadership as well. Have the bandwidth for and are interested in expanding their skill set around purpose-driven leadership. That's really a strong focus of the program, is that we're developing purpose-driven leaders. Value the importance of developing a strong network of colleagues. Again, that networking piece is huge. So we're really interested in people who want to expand their professional partnerships. I could speak for the 2023 cohort for sure and say that they obviously developed friendships beyond the professional leadership skills that we all talked about during the class. And it's a lot of fun to see them come back together when we do some alumni events. So, and then we really want to ensure that you've got support back at your shop. So we are looking for people who have the full support of either their direct supervisor, whether that's the executive director of the organization, or if you're already in that role, then maybe it's your board chair. So what is the cohort really about? Like I said, it's 9 months. We start in January. We meet a full month. It's, I think, the 4th Tuesday of every month, generally from around 8 to 4. So it is a full day. And throughout those 9 months, we are really just focusing on developing leadership competencies. We want to develop an engaged and knowledgeable leadership group within the greater Des Moines community. This is, it is about professional learning, but it is also about that personal learning. So it is a individualized learning experience. It's personal development that can really be translated into a lot of different areas when you start to think about that personal leadership and purpose-driven work. And then it's an opportunity to really develop those relationships with other people in the sector. So the question, of course, always out there is, how much does it cost? The full cost to participate would be around $2,000, but thanks to an investment and a grant that we received, the tuition fee is $250 to participate, and that includes everything, meals, and we always have breakfast, lunch, and a good snack. All of the resources that you're provided. Just everything in the program then is covered for that $250. We realize, though, that could still be a barrier to participate. So if that is the case, we do have scholarships. It's just part of the application, is just to indicate that you would like to be considered for a scholarship, and then just a little sentence about why. So if that is something that you're interested in, don't hesitate to go ahead and apply for a scholarship. We don't want the cost to be a barrier to applying. So the 9 months sort of have an overarching topic for each month that we address. Everything from personal leadership in month 1, where we do things like take the Myers-Briggs personality assessment and think about your personal strategic plan. The next month is executive leadership. So starting to think about, how do you set strategy for nonprofit organizations? What does it look like to create a budget for a nonprofit? What are things that you should know just around that executive leadership piece? We cover influence and advocacy, nonprofit strategy, assessment and evaluation, resource development, communication, and dynamic problem solving. These were the 2023 overarching themes for each month. They've evolved a little bit in 2024 in terms of what actually happens within each of those months, and I imagine will continue to evolve within 2025. We want to be really reflective of what the sector needs and what are the needs of the individual cohort members. So while this is sort of loosely how we've been framing things, there is definitely chance to evolve. And then that last box there, leading leaders. So that is a monthly mentoring session that is part of every month. So we have 4 current executive directors in the greater Des Moines community that serve as mentors And they come in and meet with small groups of the participants once a month. And they cover everything from whatever the topic is for the day to maybe they'll bring in a case study from their own shop that they talk about with the group. And just another way to expand that network, but also really hear from some people that are on the ground doing the work. So if you're like, this sounds great, I just don't know, is this for me? Just some different characteristics of people that are a good fit for the program. Confidence in your personal leadership abilities. We want you to come in knowing we can't teach you everything, and so confidence in what you're bringing to the table and willingness to share your experiences with your colleagues in the group. Awareness of the competencies of a purpose-driven leader. So if that term purpose-driven leader is new to you, maybe an opportunity to take some time and to dive into what does that really look like. And I'm sure that you will find that you're using many of those skills every day, even if you haven't heard that term. We're interested in people who want strategies for tactical leadership development. We've tried to be really thoughtful every month to give you something that you can take away and implement in your own shop right away. So that you have to use what you learn or you lose it. And so we want you to be able to apply it right away. And then just people who are really, again, interested in building those deeper relationships with fellow nonprofit leaders. So timeline, the application is currently available. It's on our website. The applications are due Friday, August 2nd. You're welcome to turn them in anytime in advance. I'll talk a little bit more about what application details in just a second. We will notify participants by Friday, September 13th, including the 2 alternates. And then anybody invited to apply will have a week to confirm that, yes, they are committed and they want to accept the invitation. The cohort will have a small little social kickoff on December 3rd, just a couple hours in the evening to get to know each other. We'll bring in alumni from the previous cohorts that can kind of share their experience and just start to get to know each other and dive in a little bit earlier than January. And then the cohort meets again the 4th Tuesday of every month from around 8 or 8:30 till 4. And those dates are listed. I think potentially it is a little different in May because of Memorial Day. So that might be a little bit early in May, but for the most part, it's that 4th Tuesday of every month. So the application is a SharePoint form. So just some basic questions about you and where you work. We try to be thoughtful in terms of making sure that we have a diverse group in like size of organization, budget size, number of staff, things like that. So some basic questions about those logistical details of you and your profession. And then there is an essay portion. So we have 5 different essay questions that are listed here on the screen. So what are the leadership capacities in which you have strengths and those where you have opportunities for growth? What do you hope to get out of this experience? In what ways have you worked to expand professional collaborations throughout your career within the nonprofit sector? How would you characterize a purpose-driven leader? And then what unique contributions will you bring to the cohort? I would say my encouragement would just be to have each of those questions as a header and give a few paragraphs to answer each. We would ask that you don't go over 1,000 words. It doesn't need to be a dissertation or a novel. Just really help us get to know you by answering those questions. And you'll upload those then along with your application. We do ask for a letter of support from your executive director or board chair, whichever is applicable to your position, just indicating that they understand that there's tuition involved. And so if they're going to cover that and that you would be away from the office that full day every month. We do give plenty of time during breaks for, responding to emails or if things come up. But for the most part, we want you to be able to sort of step away from the chaos of the daily grind and really just invest your time and focus into the program. So who are we looking for? You know, we've kind of given you the high level, but we will choose 12 to 16 again. We're looking at you as an individual and just your willingness to engage and dive in. We are looking at ensuring that we have a broad range of organizations represented. We mean that in a lot of ways, right? I've mentioned earlier, size of organization, size of budget, number of staff, what sort of service do you offer in the community? You know, do we have people who are working with youth and I see Amy, so people in the arts sector and you know, people in the food sector. I see Melissa too. So yeah, so just trying to make sure that we've got a wide variety of sector service represented as well. The advisory committee makes the decision on the applicants. So they are scoring blindly. They have a rubric in which they're scoring the essays, and then the other factors, you know, in terms of service go in there as well. But they are scoring blindly. So we take out any identifying information from your letter and or the letter of support from your board chair or AD. So I feel like I probably talked really fast and gave you a lot of information. So just to review and kind of summarize everything. So again, the who, we're looking for, you know, people who are currently employed within the nonprofit sector, have been at least 3 years. This year, we definitely have people who have exceeded the 5 years within the sector. So 3 to 5 is kind of a loose term, but if you find that you're outside of those windows, I would still encourage you to go ahead and apply. Interested in expanding, you know, your personal and your professional leadership skills as well as that network, and can commit to the 9 months. I mean, that's a huge piece. It's only effective if you're there and in the room and really engaged. And so we're looking for people who can say, yep, I'll be there each of those days throughout the 9 months. Again, it's just focused on really developing a strong and healthy nonprofit sector and the leaders within it. That purpose-driven leadership really guides our curriculum and our objectives for each session. And then it is a $250 tuition, but there are scholarships available. Why would you consider this? I mean, it's going to build your confidence, your awareness in what leadership looks like within a nonprofit organization, really help you think through some strategies that you can put into place in your organization. And again, those relationships, we just can't say that enough. So the applications are open, due that Friday, August 2nd. We will let you know by the 14th, and then we have that kickoff meeting in December. And just don't forget that you would need a letter from your ED or board chair, and you'll have an essay as part of your application. We have a few quotes from a few of our 2023 participants. Perry from the Healthiest State Initiative, she just said, I look forward to For Impact Leaders every month. The topics covered are enjoyable and interesting, plus the community leaders offer advice, which I feel is priceless. I also appreciate that the team from the Community Foundation is open to feedback. And I love that she said that, because as a participant, that is something that we ask you, is to provide us feedback. We do monthly evaluations, and then we do midpoint evaluations, and we really try to adapt the program to what it is that you say you need. And so that can look like a lot of different things, you know. Engaging speakers after lunch is something that we heard a lot, and I'm sure you can all think about and relate to that. So we really try to just take what you're telling us and apply it. Travis said, For Impact Leaders program has been incredibly beneficial as I continue to grow my own nonprofit in the city of Des Moines. My favorite part is learning about board development, strategic planning, fundraising, and other topics from professionals serving in the greater Des Moines community. And so it's something I didn't mention is, you know, who's providing the sessions each month. It ranges from current nonprofit professionals to for-profit leaders to consultants in the community. We've just got a great variety of speakers that will come in and do the different sessions. So you're not hearing from me most of the time. It's people who are in the work and have that experience. And so generally it's, I'm going to say 3 to 5 different sessions throughout the day with a different learning topic, kind of under that umbrella that we had shared earlier, with then time for like the Leading Leaders Mentor Program and just some different activities that we might do, some more hands-on or interactive activities to just keep your mind moving throughout the day. So try to keep it fast-paced and flowing throughout the day, so you're not sitting and listening to one speaker. You're hearing a variety of different voices in the room. So I will pause there and just see if there are any questions. If not, thank you so much for joining us. And again, this is recorded, so you will get this recording and welcome to go back and review it afterwards. But looking forward to answering anything that you might still be curious about.
Thank you. That was super helpful. It sounds like a really cool program. I was curious, is there any sort of time commitment that's needed of participants outside of the Tuesdays? Like, is there homework or different reflection
Great
pieces?
question.
Well,
Yeah. We try to say no. We know that if you're already giving a full day each month, that's a lot. Sometimes we'll maybe have speakers that are coming in that want to know kind of like the needs of the group before they put their presentation together. So we might have like a quick survey that we ask you to fill out before a session. We have had a few speakers that have asked the participants to read an article before the session. So occasionally there are little things like that may be a half hour or so of time outside of the day. But the one consistent thing that we do ask is we have a midpoint evaluation. And so we do ask people to fill that out in roughly like the May-ish timeframe. And that's about a half hour. But otherwise we try to keep it, during that day in the month.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking. That's a great question. Well, I will hang out and wait if anyone has additional. Otherwise, I'll just say again, thank you so much for joining us. My contact information is here on the screen. I'm happy to answer questions. If you get into the application and you have them, don't ever hesitate to reach out. We definitely want to support you in thinking about whether this is the right next step for your professional journey. And we look forward to engaging with you as we go. So thanks again.